All right. So I was just doing a different live stream, much less important topic than this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this on its own. We got some new information in the Cain Velasquez case that that we're going to run through right now. I'm going to share this this news report with everybody. I'm sure a lot of people that were just on probably already saw it, so I'm actually going to just do this. I'm going to do it right now, run through it again, and then we'll talk about it because man, there's a lot going on here in the Cain case. So let's do this thing.
Cain Velasquez's lawyer gives an update on Cain's case and says he has surprising evidence that implicates Harry Galarte, his mother and stepfather. Cain's lawyer also says that Harry Galarte's mother is trying to sell her daycare business, has gone missing,
of course,
and is refusing to testify against Cain Velasquez.
He does not belong where he is.
Okay, real quick. So Galarte is the guy who's accused of putting hands on Cain's kid. They're saying that the mother who owns the daycare is trying to sell the daycare, which means they're moving. That means they're moving. And she's gone missing, and she refuses to testify against Cain. There's a number of things there. So A, they're getting out of town. B, I'd be interested to know, he says she's refusing to testify. What exactly would she testify to or not testify to, though? Right? Like, I mean, there's no way she would have been privy to anything going on with her son. And when it comes to the actual incident of Cain chasing the guy down, what could she testify to anyway? But the fact that she's missing, that's interesting. She's probably in hiding, dude. Just imagine what it's like to be her in this situation right now.
Is number one. And number two, the only victims here, which are his family, are the ones who really need him. And it's frankly perplexing to me what is going through the mind of the people who are seeking or have sought to keep him in custody.
Agreed.
You know, Julie, today, the district attorney, I had known this, but now they said it on the record that they do not plan on calling the accused in this case, even though the accused Mr. Galarte is the only person who is the complaining witness in the attempted count. And they've now said, gone on the record, they're not going to call him as a witness.
Okay, hang on. So they're saying I want to just do, like, this is a long segment. I'm going to stop each time and just explain exactly what is going on so I can get my thoughts on the record, and then you guys can ask me questions about it afterwards. So what he's saying is that the DA that's prosecuting Cain, who you'll find out later is also prosecuting Galarte, who is the guy accused of putting hands on Cain's kid. They're saying that they're not going to call him as a witness in the trial against Cain. Okay. So that means a couple of things. Number one, they don't want to put him on the stand because they don't want to open up questions about the other case, right? Like for the prosecution, they don't want anyone thinking about why Cain might have done this. They're trying to get you got to understand, take humanity out of this. Like there is no scenario where the DA is thinking like, wow, that's probably something I would have done if I thought that happened to my kid. Like, they just want to get a conviction. End of story. And if your only goal is to get a conviction, then there is no reason to call Galarte and put him on the stand, because that opens the defense to be able to question him about the accusations that Cain's kid made, which is then more likely to create a sympathetic jury that might acquit Cain. So there's no, and also they've got Cain dead to rights. Like, no one's even denying what he did. There is no reason for them to call Galarte. If I was a DA, I wouldn't call him either. Like, no one is denying the facts of the case. Cain went to the house, followed the guy, took shots, shot the dad. There's no one disputing that. Why would they need to call him unless they were trying to sabotage the case?
So you have to wonder, we're already an upside down world. Now we've gone through the looking glass. Right, Paul Bender has already, through his lawyers, moved to stay the civil proceedings by saying he's going to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Patricia is dodging service, So God only knows where she is. They put the daycare center up for sale. They're obviously not sticking around. If anybody was a threat to public safety, it would be a place that literally was or at least at first glance, kind of the gravamen of and his actions. And on top of it, they're the same DA, as you noted, who's prosecuting them is prosecuting Cain. How do you serve those two masters?
That's crazy.
It makes absolutely no sense. This thing is really an abomination. I've said it since day one. The fact that this DA came out here, held a press conference, kind of tainted the whole process, and now is basically saying, oh, well, we wanted bail on the, but the judge overruled us, but we don't want any bail on Cain. We want to keep him in custody. I don't understand how they do it, but we'll address that as well.
Okay, so Garagos is a great lawyer. He's a great attorney, but I would drill a stake through those arguments, all of them. And I'm on Cain's side, obviously. Like I'm obviously I've never wavered on that at all. But I will say this, that again, let me rewind actually. So when it comes to the when it comes to like when it comes to like the act that Cain did, it's like giving that guy bail and not giving Cain bail is ludicrous to me. Like, I think it is absolutely inevitable that Cain is going to go to jail for this, but to not give him bail in between now and when he gets sentenced, it makes no sense to me. That said, he's going to get credit for this time. He's going to get credit. He's going to jail, just plain and simple. He's going to go to jail for this. There is no scenario where he just walks free. And so the time that he's in now, he'll get credit for it at least. So it's not like he's just sitting there for no reason. You know, like that's one way to think about the no bail thing is like, if there was any chance, like I'm talking any chance of him walking completely free time, you know, with whatever, then I would really like, I mean, I've always had a serious problem actually with him getting no bail. But at the very least, if you assume like he's probably going to go in at least for a little while, like he'll at least get this time served. But you guys saying that like he'll probably do a year or two, dude, I wish I agreed with you. I really do. And originally I did. I did agree. The problem is that unless something has changed, Goularte is only charged with the one count with Cain's kid. With one count, this is all going to be built on emotion, dude. Like this is all going to be built on emotion. Now, if that guy, if Goularte, if there was like 12 other accusers to where the jury that's going to be making a decision is looking and they're like, this is some demented, sick child diddler that did this to 12 kids. And in their heart, that, you know, they know the law, but in their heart, they're like, the world would be better off, dude. You know, then Cain has a good shot. If it's only Cain's kid, then if doubt enters the mind of the jury, right? If there's any doubt that maybe the guy didn't do it, he's going to get rung up, dude. Like he's going to get rung up because the only way out of this is based on human sympathy. And the human sympathy has to be based on him making a prudent decision that any father would have at least thought about. And it's like basically like any father who had the balls would have done what he did. But that requires certainty that the guy did it. Requires certainty. This is not the law. Like we're not talking about like, you know, go pull out the law and here's this and that. I'm talking about how these things actually play out, you know? So, you know, it's like, I mean, I would like, if it was my kid, I can't even, I mean, I would like to say that I would be, more tactful about it, like that I would, that's why I think he snapped, dude. Like that's why I think, that's why I think that he was parked out in front of the house thinking about whether he was going to go beat the fuck out of the guy, and he just had a gun on him. And then he saw him walk out and just snapped. That's what I think. Because otherwise it's like, there are much, more calculated ways where you can protect yourself. But this whole thing, like the whole way that Garagos is trying to paint this is like, there's just not like, there's like, at first glance, it all sounds like they're not even going to have the guy that's accused testify. What? And then it's like, well, why would they? Why on earth would they have him testify? And then it's like, wait, you got the same, attorney prosecuting both cases. And you're like, I mean, honestly, they are different cases. That's actually not really that big a deal. The only problem I have is with them giving bail to dude and not giving it to Cain. And at the same time, if we're playing devil's advocate, if I'm the DA, you know what? The DA asked for no bail. The DA asked for no bail for that guy, I'm pretty sure. And then I think the judge is the one that granted it to him. But then the DA did not want bail for Cain. I don't know, dude. I don't even know. Like, honestly, I mean, this is irrelevant and kind of just a thought exercise. This is just a thought exercise. But like, if it was up to you, or I guess if it was up to Cain, which do you think that he would prefer? To find out that Galarte actually didn't do it, that the guy was innocent, or find out for sure that he did? I bet you he'd take the years to find out that he didn't do it. Take the years to know that his kid actually didn't go through that. It's an irrelevant thought exercise. But the only thing that I don't understand about how Garagos is approaching this case is, why is he not using temporary insanity as the defense? Because the guy touched my kid. So, I killed him. So it's like, that's just not that's like a thing that you would, I understand. But in a court of law, that's not a defense, dude. That's not a defense. Crime of passion or whatever it is, the thing about I completely lost my shit. But if you're just trying to if they're just, and I'm not talking about man to man, I get it, dude. Yeah, the guy touched my kid, so I fucking put a bullet in his head. It's like, yeah, I got you. But I don't know. It's a fucking tough case to argue, dude. He really is almost just going to have to just rely on the mercy of the court, kind of, to understand. Yeah. I don't know. What was the other thing that they said? It was that he was trying. So it was that they're not going to make him. Oh, the missing mom. Yeah. So the mom, she's out, dude. Oh, I remember. I knew I was forgetting something. The other thing was about the father-in-law who got shot. And he said through his lawyers. Let me actually, I can't remember exactly what he said. Hang on, let me hear that again, because there was something about that I wanted to comment on, and I can't remember what it was, because that guy, that's the actual victim of the shooting, you know. Hang on.
Down world. Now we've gone through the looking glass. Right, they've Paul Bender has already, through his lawyers, moved to stay the civil proceedings by saying he's going to invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Oh yeah,
Patricia is
invoke the Fifth Amendment. Oh, invoke the Fifth Amendment, because they're going to ask him about touching the kids. Invoke the fucking Fifth Amendment, dude. Let me just make this perfectly clear. If anybody ever has any questions for me around like, hey, blah, 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 diddle kid, the answer is fucking no. And I don't need the Fifth Amendment for you to know that I would never be anywhere near that. And that if I caught my son-in-law diddling a kid, I would fucking tape him to a wall, and then I would hold his mouth open and I would remove each of his teeth one by one as an appetizer before I shot him in the head and threw him into a dumpster. You know, fucking Fifth Amendment, dude. Jesus. But again, dude, I'm telling you, on just like the reason I like I'm struggling talking about this now is because I've always had a knack for the legal system and like kind of understanding how to like navigate shit or contracts, you know, negotiating with people. I can look at a contract and just read it. Like I didn't go to law school. I can read them like, and then go to my attorneys and be like, look, this says yada, yada, yada. We got to get them to switch this wording around. Da, da, da. Like I can just do that. And I look at this case and I can just triangulate all the things and fuck, man, this is a tough, like, I don't see how Cain has a good outcome here. If again, and I say this very heavily weighted on the fact that his kid is the only accuser. That's such a bad, like, data point. Unless, here's one thing I will say. You know what? This is something I will say. So the DA is trying both cases, right? Okay. The DA is trying both cases. So the DA is saying that both cases are separate. And like I said, the DA just wants to get a conviction. And DAs are dirty, man. They will play dirty. If the DA had other accusers, they could theoretically pocket them, keep them quiet, do the Cain case, and then do the Ghilardi case after, and probably be like, what? The two cases have nothing to do with each other. Because legally they don't. If the DA does that, let me just say that real quick. If the DA does that, if the DA holds back on other accusers on the Ghilardi case, convicts Cain, gets him sentenced, and then all of a sudden there are a bunch of accusers, they should be fucking disbarred. And what's crazy is that probably isn't even against the rules, you know, because they know what I know. If the jury thinks they're looking at a hero who was protecting the community from a dude who was a serial diddler, that's, you know, I mean, I get, like, when I first thought about it, I was like, no, I don't think that is a conflict of interest, but it is actually. It is, for the exact reason that I just said. It's a conflict because at first I was thinking, I'm like, there's no real like benefit to either way, like managing either case is whatever. Like, it's not like they're not gonna like throw one case or the other, but they could sandbag the number of accusers in one for the other. For sure, they could do that. And that would be, I have to use diddler, because if I use the P word, you get The tube does not like that word. Anyway, that's enough of this. It's Sunday. I'm going to go hang out with my kids and watch a movie. Free Cain. Peace.